Plato, who was born in 427 BC, remains one of the most prominent disciples of Socrates. We know about Socrates through Plato's dialogues itself. After Socrates' infamous killing, Plato traveled to Egypt and Italy, studied with the students of Pythagoras, and spent years advising the ruling family of Syracuse. In 386 BC, he returned to Athens and founded his own school of philosophy, the Academy. His most famous student was Aristotle. Plato believed that the moral values of individuals are governed by the moral values of the society. He emphasized that the idea that one cannot expect a citizen to be honest if the country itself is corrupt. This is seen in his concept of the philosopher king, similar to the Indian idea or the Indian saying, Yata Raja Tata Praja, meaning as the king, so are the subjects. Plato also believed that the real world is a transient and an imperfect version of an eternal and an ideal world that exists somewhere else. This dualistic view aligns with many spiritual teachings that we find in the Indian philosophy. Plato introduced the idea of cardinal virtues as well. So these cardinal virtues are very, very essential for a balanced and a just society. These virtues include prudence, courage, temperance, and justice. You see the same things being again reiterated by Aristotle as well. Prudence involves rational thinking and making wise decisions. Courage is the virtue of a spirited part of the soul, helping to overcome the fears. Temperance is about self-control and managing the desires. Justice is the harmonious functioning of all these elements, ensuring that fairness and adherence to what we call in the Indian philosophy as dharma. Plato came from an aristocratic family and was not a fan of democracy to speak. He believed that wisdom should guide all leadership. All leadership positions should be taken by the wise people only, not by the whims of the masses. The administration should be not run by the whims of the masses. This skepticism is very much evident in his belief that the best rulers are the philosopher kings themselves. Plato argued that a democracy often leads to decisions driven by emotions and prejudices rather than the reason or the fair play. He advocated for a structured society with specific roles, ensuring that only the wise and knowledgeable lead. In the Indian setting, this idea parallels the concept of Rajdharma, where the king or leader is expected to rule with wisdom and righteousness. Plato's Republic is one of his most famous works, outlining his vision of an ideal state where citizens can achieve virtue under the guidance of philosopher kings. In the Republic, Plato describes an ideal society divided into three distinct classes: producers, soldiers, and guardians. Each class has specific roles and responsibilities to ensure that the functioning of the society is rather smooth. The producers are the working class, responsible for producing goods and services. They include the farmers, artisans, and the merchants. Their primary virtue, in order to move like this in the society, is temperance, as they need to manage their desires and contribute to the society's needs. The soldiers are tasked with defending the state and maintaining order. This virtue is courage, as they must protect the state from the external and internal threats, often putting their lives on the line. At the top, you have the guardians. These are also known as the philosopher kings. The best amongst them will be the philosopher king. They are selected based on their wisdom, their intelligence, their moral integrity. Their virtue, of course, is prudence, as they must govern wisely and ensure justice and harmony prevails in the state. Education plays a very, very crucial role in Plato's Republic. From a young age, individuals are educated and tested at times or multiple times to determine their abilities and suitably place them in each class. Those who excel in wisdom and virtue are groomed to become the guardians. This rigorous education system ensures that only the most capable and virtuous individuals get to lead the state, minimizing the risk of corruption and incompetence. One of the most famous parts of the Republic is the allegory of the cave. In this allegory, Plato describes prisoners chained in a cave, only able to see the shadows on the wall. These shadows represent the illusions and misconceptions of the world. The journey out of the cave symbolizes the philosopher's ascent to knowledge and truth. Once outside, the philosopher sees the real world and understands the forms and the true nature of reality. This journey reflects the philosopher king's role in guiding the society from ignorance towards enlightenment. While Plato's ideas were really, really revolutionary, they also faced criticism. Some viewed his ideal state as too rigid and hierarchical, potentially leading to a totalitarian regime.